Have you ever stood in front of a room ready to speak, lead, or share something that matters only to be hijacked by the quiet but ruthless voice that whispers, "What if they don't believe you belong here?" Me too. That voice, it loves to show up right when you're stepping into your power, when you're leading, stretching, doing something bold. This episode is for that moment. Welcome back to the Courageous Exchange. I'm Deb Carville, and this is a space where we talk about what it really means to lead with heart, humanity, and courage. Today's episode is called Imposter Interrupted. And if you've ever taken a brave step forward only to be met with the voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" this conversation is for you. Recently, I was invited to speak at a professional event, something I've done many times before. I was asked to share my experience and insights on leading through change and building courageous cultures, topics I live and breathe. And yet that morning, I felt anxious. Doubt crept in. What if they don't want to hear from me? What if I'm saying what they've heard before? What if they don't believe I'm the right person to be standing at the front of this room? I had prepared, I had practiced, but that inner voice was loud. Still, I walked in, took a breath, and did what I came to do. People leaned in, they took notes, snapped pictures of the slides, nodded with those knowing full body nods as I told the stories leaders rarely share. Afterward, the event organizer came up to me and said, "Deb, you were exceptional. Honestly, we should have had you open the day." And they added something that really stayed with me. "We've got another event coming up later this year, and we'd love to have you kick it off. Your energy sets the tone we want, grounded, honest, and real. It's exactly what people need at events like this." And just like that, all the fear that had tried to take over earlier, it felt small, powerless, interrupted, because courage had shown up louder. And they weren't the only ones that shared. A few attendees pulled me aside with words like, "It's such a relief to hear I'm not the only one feeling this. And you've given me ideas I can take back to my team to make things better." And still, just hours before, I almost let the inner imposter talk me out of showing up fully. Because that voice, it's not about truth, it's about fear. And it often gets louder right before we step into something meaningful. And this wasn't the first time I had felt this way. I had a leader I looked up to, someone who seemed effortlessly confident. I remember going to them once for support before a high-pressure presentation, and I admitted to them, I get nervous in these situations. Do you ever? And how do you deal with it? Their response? Don't feel that way. You shouldn't be nervous, just go out there and do it. And just like that, the conversation ended. I wasn't asking for a pep talk. I was asking for connection, insight, reassurance that I wasn't the only one. Instead, I walked away feeling dismissed, unseen, and small. That moment stuck with me, not because of the nerves, but because of what I learned about leadership. When someone is vulnerable with you, the most powerful thing you can do isn't to fix them. It's to witness them, to say, "I hear you. I've been there. Let's walk through this together." When leaders bypass emotion, they miss the chance to build trust. Confidence isn't contagious, but courage is. And it starts with listening. Here's what's really going on underneath all of this. Our brains are wired with something called negativity bias, a survival mechanism that keeps us scanning for danger. And in modern leadership spaces, danger often looks like judgment, exclusion, or getting it wrong. When you walk into a room where you feel out of place, underrepresented, or uncertain, your brain lights up with messages like, "Be careful, stay small, don't mess this up." Dr. Valerie Young, one of the leading researchers on imposter syndrome, identified 5 types of imposter thinking. From the perfectionist to the soloist to the expert, what they all have in common is this: They show up in high achievers. They show up in people who care. They show up when you're stretching beyond where you've been before, which means you're not broken, you're growing. Here's a powerful reframe. Fear doesn't always mean stop. Sometimes it means this matters. Sometimes it means I'm about to be seen. And sometimes it means I care deeply and I want to do this well. When that voice of doubt rises, ask yourself, is this fear telling me something true or something old? Because fear is just data, not destiny. One tool I use with my coaching clients and myself is writing a letter to the imposter voice. Here's a piece of one I wrote not long ago. Dear imposter voice, I know you're trying to keep me safe. You show up right before I do something important, but I'm not who I was when you first arrived. I've grown, I've stretched, I've earned this voice, and I'm going to use it. The goal isn't to make the voice go away, it's to recognize it for what it is, a signal, and to choose courage anyway. If you need something in the moment, try the 3 R's. Recognize, reframe, reconnect. Recognize the story. This is the part of me that's afraid I'm not enough. Reframe it. Fear is a signal, not a truth. Reconnect to your intention. I'm here to lead. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be present. These tiny pivots can bring you back to yourself. So here's your courage spark for today. What fear-based story is your imposter voice telling you right now? And what would your wise self say in response? Say it, write it, interrupt the old script, and begin a new one, grounded in who you are becoming. Imposter interrupted. That's what we're doing here. We're not waiting to feel confident. We're choosing to be courageous. And every time you show up anyway, every time you choose truth over fear, you're creating a ripple for yourself and for everyone watching. You're not an imposter. You're a leader in the making, and you belong in the room. Until next time, keep showing up with heart. This is the Courageous Exchange.